Well, we have Ovieteme George joining us live from Delta State. Ovieteme, both shocking and revealing reports that we've just seen from you there. How does it strike you in your many years of covering oil and gas in Nigeria?
Another sad story, another sad tale in the Niger Delta. Ngozi and Adesua, if you can hear me clearly, this is a recurring decimal. Though this happened in a larger capacity, in a higher dimension, one never thought of. For years, there have been pipeline surveillance contracts ongoing. Of course, we know that there are security agencies patrolling the waterways, but this was not detected. And so this is a bit further into the mangrove forest. And you could hear Melekeri, the GMD of NNPC Limited, saying it was a professional job. It was a professional job executed at the expense of the Nigerian state in terms of economy. Nigeria is losing so much and even struggled to meet its OPEC quota of 1.8 million barrels per day for the month of September. What about October? But there are signs that things are going to fall into shape, perhaps with the award of a pipeline surveillance contract to government Tompolo, popularly called Tompolo. Before now, we never heard anything like this. So it strikes me with a bit of pain that Nigeria could lose so much. And also, on the other hand, I'm happy that this was discovered. But then this is more like a realization that perhaps there could be more points out there that are waiting to be detected. You heard Kirsten Pondi say there that 15 points were also discovered, perhaps much more as they move further into the forest. So it pains me that Nigeria is losing so much. Of course, it affects every state, including my state, Bayelsa, when you talk about the monthly allocation from the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee, what comes in. So you see, that's how it is. What about the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU? How much are they asking for? For 9 years, some thieves plugged the hole and we're getting what should be coming to Nigeria. So you see, I'm not happy. But on the one hand, I can look at a brighter future if more points are discovered.
Indeed, Ovieteme, it's definitely a head scratcher for me. 9 years gone unnoticed, and it does look like the renewal of contract, surveillance contract for this company seems to be paying off. Initially, it was controversial. They seem to be living up to the contract that was renewed. But what does this say about the depth of the theft we're dealing with when the group CEO says this was professionally done? These were no rookies.
Well, he has noticed something, and I thought that was a profound statement from the GMD of NNPC Limited. Now, what they did there was not the first time. You see, sometimes when things happen, you look inwards. Were there collaborators? You never can tell. There's a saying, I can't quote verbatim now, that the mouse, what the mouse sees inside, it tells other mice, and they come in to know where the food is. So this is more like some persons haven't acquired that technology of just digging holes into the Nigerian economy and making money for themselves, which means probably they were doing it somewhere. Perhaps they were employed also, but now that they have seen a shorter route of making money, of course, they are doing it. It could be in very many places of the Niger Delta. This is just one case because it has been discovered by Tantita Security Services Limited, owned by government Tompolo, popularly called Tompolo. So I'm worried. I'm worried that some persons could use their technique, their expertise, technique and expertise to rob the Nigerian state. When, of course, sometimes you look in deeply too. These men are all over. Some may be employed. Some may not be employed. And they can do this, which means they have the expertise. What if the government looks at these ones, draws them closer? Of course, nobody's going to turn himself up. But those who are involved in illegal bunkering and illegal refineries, they have local technique that, if harnessed, can, of course, be used the right way to protect the environment. This is one major crisis right now in the Niger Delta. Flora and fauna are heavily impacted. There are some seafoods that you no longer see in the saline rivers. That's the salt water. You don't see them anymore. Going to Escravos, I noticed where we were driving past a creek. The water was oily all through. I bet you no aquatic life could be found in that creek. So this is more like people using their expertise at the expense of the state, at the expense of the country. And I don't know for how long it will go on. Let's just hope that there are better days with this pipeline surveillance contract from Tompolo.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Ovieteme, is it safe then to say that the surveillance contract given to Tompolo may just be paying off? Is that what we're seeing?
I can say in one breath it is paying off. On the other, I can say this is morning yet on creation day. Permit me to take those words from the late literary sage Chinua Achebe's novel. But that's the truth. It is quite early in the day, but there is a breakthrough. Who could ever think that this could happen in present-day Nigeria? For 9 years, something has been happening undetected. Now, when the pipeline surveillance contract was awarded to government Tompolo, there were dissenting voices in the Niger Delta. The good thing is the Governor General of the Zone Nation, that is Governor Doye Diri of Bayelsa, said intervened. It was a timely intervention. And of course, you had Alabo Ediabali, Mujahid Dokubo Asari, say the other day that the Zone Nation has intervened, and so they're all working together. That could be one of the reasons this has been found. Now, this is in Tompolo's area. What about Chief Asari Dokubo's area? What about King Ateke Tom's area? What about Farah Dagogo's area? You see, we have a lot of pipelines all over. But when they said the pipeline surveillance has kicked off, yes. But we had Wuriyai the other day who led us to the creeks. He told us that this is more like early stage. After this stage of profiling, the next stage will be demobilization. One thing that is noteworthy, that I think is admirable on the part of this Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited, is they don't burn vessels. They don't destroy, they don't ignite the forest. And so, on the one hand, you're crying that you have issues of environmental pollution. And on the other, some other persons are burning. So it is more like standard practice for them to seize vessels, to seize boats, to seize jerry cans and take them away, but not to burn them in those places. So I think the pipeline surveillance contract is paying off. I just hope that those who are playing the key roles and the stakeholders in different states would live up to expectation. Indeed. And then in the end would say uhuru.
All right, Ovieteme, if we allowed you, you will go on. But we have to say thank you for your brilliant reporting and analysis as always. Ovieteme Judge, our correspondent there from Delta State.